What's it been like preparing when last week specifically you knew you were going to have a bigger role with Terrence down later in the week?
Right. I think it's just always kind of being ready and always kind of preparing the same way. Coaches are pretty big on that. So nothing really changed. Obviously, it was nice to get in a little more, but I don't say anything really changed.
How much fun is it to have a bigger role out there on the field?
I mean, yeah, it's a lot of fun to kind of just get out there and kind of, let loose, something I've, kind of wanted to do, and, unfortunate circumstance that got there, but yeah, it was good to get out there.
What are your thoughts on having that #1 ranking?
It just kind of is what it is. Just going to keep going.
I feel like on Friday you were able to kind of show what you can do with the football after the catch. I know we've seen a little bit of that, but a couple big ones there.
Oh, yeah, like I said, it was nice to get out there. Getting the ball in space, it's I haven't necessarily had the opportunity to do, so, getting out there and do that, it was good.
Let's do the one where you cut back there across the middle of the field, just because there's not a lot of tight ends who necessarily look to do that, but there's not a lot of tight ends who have your athleticism either. So
yeah, I thought I could, try and get the edge. I got a little tired. I'm not going to lie towards the end there, but yeah, I thought I'd give it a shot.
Where have you grown as a blocker?
A blocker, yeah, that's like my biggest improvement for sure. I feel a lot more comfortable in all areas where it's perimeter blocking or down on the line of scrimmage. I feel really comfortable just using my technique and lower pad level.
How important is that improvement though now, where you're stepping in and maybe filling in for Terrence for a minute, where that's the strength of his times?
Right. Yeah, I just think of just being in any position, coaches, harp on us all be able to do the same thing. So it doesn't matter where I'm at, got to be able to perform to a certain standard.
A lot of people have mentioned you're one of the fastest guys on the team. Do you know what the highest miles per hour you've been tracked at is?
Yeah, it was like 22.3, 22.4, something like that.
It's a little different this season, Kenyon, that how Will's been incorporating when you and Terrence are both on the field together, whether it's at a 12 or against Ohio State, that 0-2 package, which we hadn't seen a lot of.
Mm-hmm.
How is that different than last season and the role you had last season?
Yeah, last season I was just kind of, testing it out, get a feel for what college football is like, getting an experience, whether it's not on the field, just on tape and stuff. But yeah, just utilizing different things, just making defenses adjust to what we do is big.
How important is it that, you do take advantage of those opponents where you guys can get a good enough lead and that you can have some of the younger players like you were last year, get some of that experience like your players were able to do in the fourth quarter against Purdue? How important is that, for the next year of development that you have that experience under your belt?
Right, yeah, it's huge. Even being last year and getting in some of those earlier games, it just means so much for your confidence, especially. And just getting a feel for what it's like on the field means a lot to those younger guys. So just getting in and getting it done early so those guys can get in is huge for sure.
How do you feel, Coach talked a lot about how he was most proud of the way that those players came in and kind of upheld the standard. Just what were your feelings in those moments, seeing some of those guys go out and make some big plays?
Right. I feel like it's expected, getting on the field. Those guys are just as good as any of us, you know what I mean? And our roster is so deep, which is, crucial to the season. So no matter who's out there, plays are going to be made for sure.
Their edge, number 17, has been pretty effective. When you talk about perimeter blocking, what makes him effective? What's that matchup going to be like for you?
It's just going to be hat on hat, who wants it more. So we got to be the more physical team on the perimeter and, up in the O-line. So just getting it through, being more physical.
How you guys improved a little bit red zone offensively, Kenyon, in terms of, obviously you guys scored all 5 touchdowns last week, but maybe some of those short yardage runs were a little bit harder to come by. How do you get that improvement there, particularly when it's 3 and 4 tight ends out of the same time?
Right. I just think it's mindset, getting bigger bodies on the field, and then just who wants it more, like I said. We're just out physical guys on the goal line. When it comes down to it, we're going to get the ball in.
Can you speak to the growth from both Roger and Zach and kind of what they're able to do? Obviously, they're now seeing a little bit bigger roles.
Mm-hmm. Right. Each of those guys, I think any of the tight ends, we're going to feel comfortable being on the field with. All of us are playmakers in different aspects of the game, and we each bring different things to the game. So it's cool that we get to all be on the field at once. Like I said, we just get it done.